Heather for the Museum of Natural History, and here I am again, back at the Hemlock Ravine Park to see if I can see some salamanders today. So last night I was here and I only saw 2 salamanders, but it was really cold yesterday, and it was kind of doing like freezing rain, snow. So I wonder if that is why. It was warmer today. It's 12 degrees right now, so that's good. So we'll see if there is more salamanders in the pond. I am worried that somehow I missed the peak because it was really warm in March and we had a lot of rain. So when I saw the 42 salamanders the other night, that might have been the big show. So I may have to reevaluate my April 1st date, and maybe next year, depending on the weather, actually come down here maybe in March and start surveying the pond. We'll see. You think after 13 years I'd have these salamanders figured out, but apparently not. So anyway, well, I'm gonna go down to the pond and we'll check it out and see what we can see tonight. All right, let's go. Okay, so I finished my pond survey and there were 32 salamanders. So they came back, or they're still there, so that is good. I'll be going back and seeing if there's more this week. I always worry about if they're going to come back or not. This is a very vulnerable population here at the park. So I do worry that I'm seeing the same salamanders year after year. They do live to about 32 years. So, and I don't know how productive they are in the park. I worry about that. I think they have adopted some kind of behaviors of kind of laying the eggs underneath the leaves, so that kind of keeps them protected. But yeah, we'll see. I just want to talk a little bit about collection. So coming down here over the years, I have noticed that sometimes people do bring nets and buckets, and it's one thing, like when we do the meanders, we actually discourage people from collecting. We're just observing. We say not to bring nets or buckets down, and that we're just observing the salamanders. The museum, of course, has salamanders on display. We don't collect from this pond at all. So technically, collection is it's illegal to collect them. You need a permit to collect and keep any wildlife. So salamanders are Nova Scotia wildlife, just like moose. I also don't recommend collecting moose. They're very hard to keep in your bedroom. So I think with collection, I'm kind of conflicted, especially when it comes to kids. And when I see kids really passionate, so passionate, that they will come to a pond at night, in the rain, in the cold, in the dark, just to see some salamanders, and they of course want to kind of pull them out, check them out, and to see that enthusiasm for nature and that curiosity, I think it's incredible. And I mean, it's the reason why I'm doing this video right now. It's the reason why I do the work that I do at the museum, is try to hope to inspire that kind of passion. So when I see that in a kid, I just, you know, it's wonderful. So, you know, I can't stop you from collecting. But there's a couple things I think you should think about. One, it's safety. So when you go into a pond, it's dark and it's wet and there's water, so please be safe. The other thing is to just respect the salamanders, to just think about how many you're taking out. Maybe only take out 1, 2, maybe 3, depending on how many are in the pond. If you do take them out, make sure that your hands are wet. They have a mucus layer on their skin that protects them, and dry hands can actually hurt them, so make sure your hands are wet. The other thing is they're very fragile little creatures, and to be very careful with them, not to drop them and that kind of thing. And then the last thing is please put them back where you found them. So just kind of take them out for a limited amount of time and then put them back. The other thing is about the population of the heart-shaped pond. This particular population is very special. They have a lot of obstacles living in a public park, and it's actually, we're very fortunate to have them come down to this perfect heart-shaped pond. But they are living in a city park in an area of the province with the largest population, and the pond is easily accessible. That's why we do the event there. Is the pond itself is, there's lights and there's a parking lot, and it's just right there. And the salamanders are kind of sitting ducks in the water kind of thing. So one thing to think about with this pond, if you are thinking about collecting, is that you're not the only one coming down. I see people here. I come down night after night and I'm seeing all kinds of different people doing all kinds of different things. A lot of people just observe, which is great, but occasionally I do see people coming down with the intention to collect them. And you think, well, I'm only going to collect a few salamanders, and that's it. And then you put them back, which is great. But then you leave, and 10 minutes later, somebody else is coming down, and they're picking up the same salamanders, and it puts stress on the population here. So just something to think about if you are going to collect. And I would discourage anyone from collecting from this pond in particular, and just observing this pond, because we've been doing this meander this is the 46th year, and when we started there was hundreds of salamanders in the pond, and now I'm getting excited about 42. The most I've seen was 115 one year, and but definitely the population seems to be going down. So I want to keep doing the meander for many years and to share this experience with people. And if you love the salamanders and have an interest in them, and you probably want to do this for many years too, and maybe even share it with your children. So if we want to keep the salamanders in the pond, I think it's important that we do kind of protect them. Okay, so in the words of Forrest Gump, that's all I have to say about that. All right, so I'll be back again, and I'll see how many salamanders we see in the pond, and maybe we'll see more than 42, which will be great. We'll just see how it goes. So until then, see you later.